It's time for the SP and Bushy Show. Here's your hosts, SP and Bushy.
Let's hit it, baby. It's draft time. I love it.
I know. I'm sure it's been killing you waiting almost 3 months to talk about the NFL again.
Yes, it has been eating me inside. Like I'm just like, oh god, I need to watch football. I need some football in me. I did watch a couple of those like FCS spring games, which was nice to kind of hold me over a little bit. But I'm ready for the stuff, man. Give me this. Give me the NFL. Give me college football. It's great. I love the draft. It's always one of my favorite days.
Awesome.
Now, and I'm always one of these people that were just like, oh, I remember when the draft was 2 days, and that Saturday and Sunday affair was always fun.
Oh, it was, man. I don't know. I guess I like this way. No, I like the old way better because I think that the old way was better because really, like, you get excited about the first round, and then after the first round, your excitement kind of wanes. Versus like the Saturday or Sunday, you would just have it on all day, and then like, okay, by the afternoon you get a nice buzz, and then just kind of stop.
Yeah, I agree. But I do like the format. I will always watch the NFL draft. Yeah, it will always be on TV for me, and I'm just kind of curious, who all these players pick, and then you'll have like these 4 to 7 players who are just like, ooh, wow, they took that guy, ooh.
Right, like a guy you remember having some solid college career, and then all of a sudden he ends up, going late, and you're like, oh, maybe he's going to be that difference maker.
Yep.
Obviously, every team has their draft needs, and we're going to look at those needs, but we're not going to look at the needs in the traditional sense of, oh, they need a lineman, or oh, they need this. It's like, what does every team really need, right, Bushy?
Yep. What they really need to draft, really, as far as draft needs or something like that, which we'll give an example for with the first pick.
Awesome. Now, we had talked about draft order because obviously you and I are going to switch off introducing what each team needs. So I think you should go first because obviously the first pick is reserved for like usually the worst team in the draft. And obviously, based on our March Madness poll, you weren't quite at the bottom, but of the two of us, you were the one who came up.
Oh, because I was the worst, I get the first pick. Okay, yeah. Yes. Oh, that's what my draft needs is. I definitely need to draft smarter next year. That's really my draft need. I need a solid draft stat. I need Jay Billis. Let's put it that way. I need Jay Billis, Dick Vitale.
I need to not listen to you because I feel like I listened to you about Texas. I got on the Texas bandwagon with you, and if I hadn't picked Texas, I probably would have been in good shape there.
You probably would have won our bracket challenge. Yeah, if you hadn't listened to me. So yeah, Trevor, you could thank me for that. But yeah, that's my draft. I'm going to draft Jay Billis and Dick Vitale. That's what I want, really. So you can kind of help me with my draft.
By the way, like I'm going off the rails again a little bit, but I saw this thing before we came on the air where talking head, dumb person, Stephen A. Smith, who drives me crazy, releases like 5 best players in all sports to never win a championship. And he put Carmelo Anthony on that list. Carmelo Anthony is a good player, but he's not one of the 5 greatest players of all time to never win a championship.
Ooh, that's going to be a good list. Ooh, we may save that for a list like down the road. But yeah, I agree. Carmelo Anthony, he was a good player. Don't get me wrong, but it's just I don't consider him one of the best. Like it's my God.
There's just a lot of other players that deserve to be ahead of him on that list of the 5 greatest players. And obviously, you could tell based on the list that Stephen A. Smith also never watched a hockey game in his life. But
no, but yeah, we'll have to do that. Yeah, really, Melo, God, like he had a long career, but it's like it really. I mean, it's not nothing home to write home about. Like, yeah, he's a
He's gonna
great
be a
player.
Hall
Like
of
people
Famer.
remember.
He's gonna be a
Yeah,
Hall of Famer.
yeah, he's gonna be a Hall of Famer, but it's nothing like to write home about. Like
There's
he's not
way
one of the
better
50
players.
greatest players. He's not one of the 50 greatest players.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably right on the edge of that. But once again, he's not a guy that. Oh God, I'm so sad. Well, I am sad, but I'm sad because the Nuggets never won the championship. I'm not sad because Carmelo Anthony never got to win the championship.
We watched at least the first
His
5, 6,
prime.
7
Let's
years,
just be honest.
of his prime, and it's just, he really wasn't going to take you anywhere. Like, I'm sorry, like he was a great player, but he wasn't going to take the Nuggets anywhere to the promised land. I like the current 15 more than the Melo 15. I like the guy who wears 15 now compared to who wore it before.
Well, yeah, I think if we're talking all around players, absolutely the guy who wears 15 now.
Yeah, I will take the big goofy Serbian of Jokic more than Melo any day of the week. I really would.
Oh yeah, and I'll take him over Melo in his prime. I want to say.
That's why we're mad now because of that, with that, the fact that we would take the Jokic right now over Melo in their primes any day of the week.
Right.
Even in 5 to 10 years, I still would be like, I want Jokic. Just give me Jokic any day of the week.
Right.
It's not a nostalgia factor for us.
No.
It really is not.
No, like I said, don't get me wrong. I love Carmelo Anthony. He's a great player, but he is not, I'm sorry, one of the 5 greatest players to never win a championship.
No, he's not. He is not. It's a terrible list. We should just keep discrediting Stevie A. Smith forever.
Right. And just because Stephen A. Smith talks loud does not mean he's right.
Come on, in today's society, that's the whole point. You talk loud, you win.
Pretty much.
That's why I want the first pick. Give me the first pick, Sean.
All yours, man. Go for it.
All right. Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, they definitely need a ton of stuff. They're definitely in a rebuilding mode, and what I think what they really need to draft now is really just a sense of I guess really they need to draft really a decent I guess really like a decent culture again, because really I mean that culture has been lost now for at least a good 10 years now. I think people really forget those mid 90s, mid to late 90s teams were always competitive. They were always good. And yeah, they really have been kind of this vast wasteland now for years now. They did have a blip of the radar in 17, but that's about it. Everything else has been a complete joke.
Yeah, and that's the weirdest thing to me is like they were good and they were one win away, and probably, without the referees helping the Patriots out, probably should have gone to the Super Bowl in 17, and then to so quickly fall off of that. Like, they need that return to 17. So I don't know whatever magic they had, but they need to redraft that magic that they had in 17, where somehow this team is good. And obviously a lot of the people that made that team good, like they got rid of off the roster for some reason. So like Calais Campbell's gone, obviously. What's his name? The corner's gone.
Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah,
it really that's what they really needed. They need to draft a new culture now, and I think that's what they're trying to do now with the Urban Meyer and then presumably Trevor Lawrence duo.
I'm excited to see it. Obviously, that's the presumption, but I was a fan of the Minshew mania when he came in and got him going a little bit in the right direction. But once again, I think that they need to redraft that 2017 magic, whatever it was. Whatever made them good, the one season that they've been good in the last 20 years, like I want to see that back, because I actually like the Jacksonville franchise. I want to see it succeed. Like I think they're a fun team. It'd be fun.
Hey, you wore a hat a couple of times during our show. So you have worn a hat, so
I ain't scared. I'll go get it.
No, you're fine. You just wear it next week, and you'll be excited. Trevor Lawrence taking him to the promised land.
Exactly, man. Obviously, because once again, you think they'll have the quarterback by next week. Once again, you'll think they'll have the head coach now to get them there. But, we also haven't seen Urban Meyer coach a pro game. So hopefully college Urban Meyer translates better to the pros than a lot of his counterparts have done in the pros too.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. He's going to be a really fascinating subject.
He certainly is, obviously, and a guy who's been out of the game for a couple of years too. So I'm very excited to see what he's done or he does.
All right, number 2, New York Jets.
Oh man, I get the Jets. This is fun.
Yes.
Oh man, the Jets. Well, the Jets obviously have a lot more needs. It's a longer list of things they need as opposed to things that they don't need. But once again, I want to see the Jets. The Jets need to draft the time before the butt fumble, because ever since the butt fumble, the Jets have been cursed. It's like the curse of the butt fumble, if you would. Because since that butt fumble, the Jets have been like the joke of the NFL. So once again, because if you look at it, a couple of years before the butt fumble, they were in the AFC Championship game against New England. They were a team that was like knocking on the doorstep. But since that butt fumble, they have been atrocious. And they have never been able to do it. So I want the Jets to draft the reversing of the curse of the butt fumble. They have good fans. The Jets have a good, passionate fan base. But obviously they suffered through the Adam Gase era. They are a team that's, ready to take that next step. And Adam Gase is always going to curse wherever he's at. But you got to look at the Jets, man, and think that there was a time before the butt fumble where the Jets were the second best team in the NFC East. And
AFC, they really were a good team. And so what you're saying basically is that they need to draft a witch doctor now to kind of get rid of this butt fumble curse. Yeah, so they need to have a witch doctor at the sideline trying to with their sage and their stuff. I agree with you. I think the Jets really do need a witch doctor to try to get rid of this curse, because they've had stretches where they've been very bad, but then they've had stretches too where they've been very good.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, they are a team that's, like I said, looking a lot worse than they actually are. And so, once again, I think the Jets have the potential if they can. I mean, obviously, Adam Gase was terrible, but you need to I also just clicked on the Adam Gase Wikipedia link, and it's one of the most hilarious pictures of someone on their Wikipedia profile.
Oh man, I really am kind of mad. I thought
to draft like the 2004 Boston Red Sox or the Chicago Cubs team that was able to reverse the curse. Like, they need to draft something that's going to reverse the curse of this butt fumble, because, like I said, since the butt fumble, they have been atrocious.
Yes, they have been really, really bad, and it's just a bad stretch for the Jets. And hopefully this is finally the time where they kind of turn it around and they actually are a competitive team as well.
We can only
so draft that witch doctor, Jets. Get rid of this and get rid of the curse of Joe Namath or anything like that. I know there are a couple of, they think Joe Namath is kind of the curse with Super Bowl III, that in a way. So yeah, just draft that witch doctor and start working on it.
They are the longest drought of any team that's actually been to the Super Bowl.
It is crazy. Yeah, it is crazy to think about that.
Right. They have, yeah. So again, draft the 2004 Red Sox, the 2016 Cubs. That's what the Jets need.
Yes.
All right, San Francisco.
All right, for San Francisco, for me, what they need to draft is a magical healing elixir. Okay, this has been a team under Kyle Shanahan that's just been buried by injuries, really. I mean, even during Shanahan's tenure, they've had the quarterback, thing here or there, but really it's been a team that's really been buried by injuries a lot of the time. And it's a team that really needs a magic healing elixir, really, because this team really is talented. It's just they've been hampered by the injury bug, and it really has been really the case for the Shanahan tenure.
I mean, once again, it really has. And you look at it, I mean, this is a team that was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So, I mean, obviously they're not that far off. You talked about the injuries. They lost Garoppolo right away at the beginning of the season. On top of that, they end up losing Kittle, the tight end. I mean, they were a team that really, like you said, had to battle a lot of injuries. I think that they were on their 18th running back by the end of last season.
Yeah, they're usually on like their 20th running back by the end of the season. So yeah, and they always had a knick-knack of injuries here or there, and George Kittle got injured too last year. Like it really was a bad season for them, and they just need to draft a magic healing elixir.
Yeah, something like that, or better team doctor, something. They got to do something. That team is, like I said, they're too good to end up where they were last year, and I feel like Jimmy G is going to get some of the blame because he hasn't been able to stay healthy. But overall, I mean, he's a pretty good player. So, I mean, I don't think he's the problem. But once again, you're right. They need to get healthy.
They need to get healthy. That's their point, and they're drafting up to get a quarterback. And who knows what they're going to draft? I'm really kind of curious who they're going to draft, either Mac Jones or Trey Lance, because it sounds like it's going to be Lawrence 1 and then Zach Wilson 2. So who's going to be that third quarterback? And keep hearing it's Mac Jones. I keep hearing it's Trey Lance. I keep hearing it's Justin Fields. Like, who knows?
Exactly.
But what they really need is a magic healing elixir. That's all they need.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that.
All right, the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, man, the Atlanta Falcons. I don't want to, go and be generic right now, but the Atlanta Falcons are another team that also needs, a curse reversal here. Because they also are suffering from the curse of the comeback, that comeback loss in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. And they have not been able to get on track ever since.
Yeah, they really. They did go to the playoffs the year before, the year after, and had a chance really to defeat the eventual Super Bowl champions, but couldn't find a way to put it in the end zone. It was kind of scary. The Eagles were probably a goal line stand away from not even making it to the NFC Championship game.
I mean, obviously, thank goodness the Eagles went, because they did end up going and winning that.
Yeah, they end up going and did win in the Super
Bowl. You could
Bowl.
also make the case that the Falcons need to draft an entire defensive overhaul, because the Falcons haven't been good on defense, and I don't even know how long.
Yeah, they had a good defense in 2016, but other than that, I agree. You're right. I think they need a defensive overhaul, and it sounds like their biggest needs really is
another curse reversal, another witch doctor.
Another witch doctor, another curse reversal. They need
some sort of Tom Brady voodoo doll, especially now that he's in the division, like a voodoo doll that you can just
Yes, that's what they need, a Tom Brady voodoo doll. That's what they need.
Yeah, poke him and give him some sort of arm injury or something.
Yes, my shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what it seems like too from their biggest needs really is a lot of defensive people. So they do that. Plus, they need a Tom Brady voodoo doll.
Tom Brady voodoo doll, witch doctor, they need the whole shebang to undo that curse once again, because they had that Super Bowl one, and the fact that they couldn't pull it off is just still haunting them to this day. Like I said, they are now the gif of blowing something big. They even 5 years later, they are still that gif of blowing something big, or even when they lost that game to the Lions when Gurley scored the only game losing touchdown ever last season. They need some sort of thing to not blow leads late.
Yeah, that's what they need. No, they need a 5 minute. Yeah, they need to draft maybe like a 55-minute game.
Exactly.
Those cheat cards that you got for the old Madden games where it's it was 1st and 5 or 1st and 20. That's what they need. They need a 55-minute Madden card.
Right, exactly. They need to draft a 5-minute fourth quarter. You're right. That's what they really.
That's what they really need. Yes.
Some sort of thing that that thing in Madden where you can simulate to the end of the game once you're up by a certain amount.
Yeah, that's what they need to.
Oh man, that is a great point, man. You won me over.
It is a good one.
5-minute game.
Plus with the voodoo. Plus with the voodoo. They need a Tom Brady voodoo doll.
Well, that voodoo guy could maybe shorten the game some. He can give Tom Brady a thing, and he can maybe reverse the curse. So the voodoo guy might be able to do all of it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Get
they could do it.
Samity in this thing. All right, Cincinnati Bengals. Let's hit it.
All right, what they really need to draft, they need to draft late 80s, early 90s fashions, because you got to think about it. This team is the longest drought of not winning a playoff game. It's crazy to think about it, but they haven't won a playoff game in over 30 years, folks. Like, this is an insane thing. So what they need to do, they need to start bringing back the late 80s, early 90s fashions. You know, we need to have like a Game Boy, maybe some acid wash jeans and some neon colors. I think that's what this world needs right now, to make it feel like it's like 1989 or 1990. So then that was back when the Bengals were really good, and we're actually winning playoff games.
They need to redraft the Icky Shuffle. They need to bring back like a signature dance, because, you know, they had that signature dance, and it seems like the team that has like a signature dance or a signature touchdown celebration, like the Dirty Bird was for the Falcons, or the Mile High Salute, you know, once you get that, or the Lambeau Leap, like once you get that signature celebration, that's when you seem to be able to make it, you know, to the playoffs.
That is. Oh, you hit the nail right on the coffin. Yeah. So we need like the Burrow busted or something like that. I don't know yet. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
It's on Joe Burrow to come up with the dance. It's not on us to come up with the dance.
Yeah. The Burrow busting or bust a Burrow or something like that. So yeah, I agree. So they need to bring back like a signature dance, and then late 80s, early 90s fashions.
Exactly. They need to do something like that. That's what I want to see from them.
All right, next on the list, Miami Dolphins.
Oh, man. It's, again, an interesting team here, a team that, you know, you look at it and it's like what they need to do. I mean, obviously, they haven't had that, like, signature quarterback since Dan Marino left, and I don't think Tua's that guy. But I think what they really, really need is for, like, the rest of the AFC East to just really just fall flat on its face, because obviously – they've been the second best team in the AFC East, or third best team in the AFC East, it seems like, for the whole last 20 years. There were the years where it was like, okay, the Patriots and the Jets were finishing 1 and 2, and they finished 3. And then last year, the Patriots and the Bills finished, or though they finished actually second, but they finished behind the Bills. So actually, I think what they need is a 17 playoff, now that I'm talking about it, because it feels like they always just miss the playoffs.
And it happened too last year. They were right on the cusp, and yeah, they just missed the playoffs. Even with this, an 18 playoff. Yeah. So they no bye weeks. Yeah, they do, and even the one year they made it to the playoffs. Yeah, the guy ends up getting knocked out. The quarterback ends up getting knocked out during the game. So yeah, I think they really. Their draft needs are really interesting. Yeah, because it's just like, I would say maybe a couple of years ago they probably would need like a culture shift, but it feels like that's their culture shift now. They have that. Really, we'll have to see with the Dolphins. I'm really kind of curious. Yeah, I think they need to. I think they need to go back and get to the 80s fashions again, because that was when they were good with Marino and Shula.
That too. I mean, once again, I think maybe they need to go back to like wearing those teal jerseys more, because it felt like they were wearing like the teal jerseys more, like their home.
Yeah, they have been kind of. Yeah, they've been kind of wearing that.
I feel like now they always wear the white.
They always wear the white, yeah, because of the Florida sunshine. But we'll have to see with the Dolphins. They are a curious team with the draft, but they definitely. They definitely need to draft that. I think that Showtime quarterback.
Showtime quarterback, and like I said, an 8-team playoff, because it feels like I don't know how many times in the last few years they've missed out on it, being in the postseason, just by being like the last team out.
It does feel that way, yeah. Where it always seems like, Dolphins are in the hunt at a 7-9 record. They could find a way to get in.
Like, they're always in the hunt, but they're never in the playoffs, it seems like. I mean, there have been obviously a few exceptions to that, but once again, they're close, but they never get it there.
Close, but no cigar.
Yeah. Oh, boy, man. You got a gold mine here with Detroit. There's no
All right.
Yes,
there's no wrong answer. Here's what they need to draft. A Mayflower truck. That's what they need to do, and get the heck out of Detroit, because obviously nothing really, I mean, this franchise really hasn't. I mean, they've had a couple of good years with Stafford and all that, but I mean, this team is ridiculous. Like, really, I mean, this team hasn't had a home playoff game in 30 years for coming up on it. So it is just really just a frightful thing. And it's just really, I think it's just the curse of Detroit. Really, I think they just need a Mayflower van and they need to move somewhere. They need to move.
Honestly, you make a good point, because if you look at Detroit sports right now, man, it is a rough time for like Detroit sports. We talk about it every week. The Red Wings are one of the worst teams in hockey. The Detroit Tigers have been a laughingstock for I don't even know how long, but it's been a long time since they were relevant.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and yeah, the Pistons aren't that good, and
yeah,
the Lions
aren't a relevant team either.
Yeah, the Lions had a couple of good years with Stafford, but that's about it. They haven't been good at all, and yeah, seriously, we've had kids that are almost our age that have never seen the Detroit Lions win a playoff game, or have had a home playoff game. That's how long it is, folks. Like I'm getting mad that the Broncos hadn't made the playoffs in 5 years. I mean, think about that. Think about the Lions haven't won a playoff game in 30 years.
Yeah,
I think they just need to move. They just need to move and have a new culture. Maybe that's just what they need to do. They need to get the stench of Detroit out of their way.
You know what they need to do? They need to switch divisions, because like they are like this team that, obviously has gone almost 28 years without a division championship. But, if they were in like the NFC East last year, they might have won that thing.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, they could have. They could have, but no, they not with the coach that they had. All right, here we go. This is a very interesting one for me. The Carolina Panthers.
It really is. Once again, like this is another team that it seems like I keep getting the teams that were a good just a short while ago, and like I said, for some reason, like maybe they need to acquire Von Miller. Because obviously Von Miller has plagued them every chance he's gotten to. And, he's made them pay for not drafting him all those years ago. Maybe the answer is Von Miller.
That could be, yeah, a Von Miller trade or something like that. Or, yeah, you're right.
Obviously, a full season of a healthy Christian McCaffrey is another thing. But,
yeah, we'll have to see too. Yeah, and they have Sam Darnold now, so God knows, God knows what that's going to be like. I mean,
well,
really.
I think they're going to draft someone, and then obviously, I imagine that person in Bridgewater. I don't see Sam Darnold actually making the team.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that. But yeah, Carolina, yeah, it is an interesting team. Yeah, you've had the teams were kind of good, and
they weren't that bad that long ago.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they went to the Super Bowl 6 years ago. Same with the Falcons, Super Bowl almost 5 years ago. So it is crazy to think. I mean, just how much those two teams have dropped off, and yeah, they're kind of this no man's land right now.
Like you're getting these teams that have been bad for like a long, long time, and I'm getting like the teams that are like, okay, they've been bad, but it hasn't been like they haven't been that bad for that long,
Yeah. They need like a Madden card, like this team boost ratings. Like that's what they need. Cause it feels like I do like the coach with Matt Rule, but it's just like that team just doesn't, I don't know why. Like, it's just like, it just seems like they don't have the right team yet or the players or personnel.
Well, so maybe that's what they've also been drafting pretty poorly. If you go back and look at their recent draft history, like they have not drafted anyone good since they drafted Christian McCaffrey in like 2017. So like they're a team that keeps drafting like these mediocre guys. I mean, I guess DJ Moore's turned out okay, but they keep drafting these guys that like, okay, I keep forgetting that, I haven't heard about even any of these guys since they've gone on to the pros.
Yeah, but it's always been like a fairly competitive team too. Like even though their record hasn't showed it, they really always been a competitive team.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they're in a lot of these games. So once again, I'm keep getting these teams that don't feel like they're that far off.
Oh, but I'm gonna enjoy the next pick.
Oh, absolutely. Savor it, my man. Savor it.
All right. Yes, next pick is the Denver Broncos, and I pointed this out. This is the prime example of what I what I did with Sean with the draft needs and the joke draft needs. This team needs to draft a clock management person for Vic Fangio. That's what they need. They need a clock management guy to be in Vic Fangio's ear the last 2 minutes of each half to kind of tell him, call a timeout here. Call a timeout here. Don't call a timeout here. What are you doing?
I mean, once again, the easier solution would have been to just move on from Vic Fangio. But, yeah, I mean, obviously they need someone to figure out how to manage this clock. Because how many games? There's at least 3 or 4 games last year that they lost that they didn't necessarily – that they were in. Like, obviously the loss to the Titans, they lost to the Steelers. They lost a lot of these close games. And once again, they just – like, they don't know how to manage late game situations. They handed the Raiders a win in the final game of the season.
Exactly, yeah. And think about, too, their first win against the Jets. We were kind of complaining about the clock management there, where it was just like, what the heck are they doing? Just run the football and punt the ball or something like that.
Yeah,
it was crazy where they wear those weird plays, and Brett Rippon is almost getting killed there.
Right, where he, like, chucks up a prayer and almost dies.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, what is he doing? I mean, yeah, this is why they need to draft a clock management person for Vic Fangio, because, yeah, I mean, it has been 2 years in the makings, folks. Just think, I mean, how many games they were in 19 and in 20, and they ended up losing these games more than not.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, here we go.
Ooh,
I think another one for you, the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, for the Dallas Cowboys, the obvious thing is a time machine to either go back in time and, find that magic that they had in the 90s. Because even when they win playoff games nowadays, like, it's not a team that you think really threatens or, like, has that playoff success. So they need to go back and they need to draft, like, the 1990s, like, Cowboys mystique. Because, like, if you go back and, like, see, like, the attitude and, like, just the, what the Cowboys meant at the time. Like, they had that America's team vibe, and now it's like America doesn't give a rat's ass about the Dallas Cowboys because they're not relevant anymore. I mean, even when they were, like they have the talent every year to do it, and they never do it. So once again, they need to go back. They need to, like, draft that mystique that the Dallas Cowboys have, or they need to go back in time and just find a way to stop Jerry Jones from ever, like, to have Jerry Jones retire at the end of the 95 season and sell the team, because he has, like, been too hands-on, and obviously, like, the result is just this team that can get to the playoffs, maybe win a game, but they can never, ever get to that, next step of going to an actual Super Bowl.
Exactly. Well, we could even go even further and having those 70s aura team, that 70s aura as well, because that team was definitely an aura as well. Yeah, the 70s and 90s of those aura teams with the Cowboys. And, yeah, you're right. This is a team that really needs to, find that 90s identity again.
Right, exactly. Because right now their identity is, okay, we get to the playoffs and lose right away.
Yes. Yeah, either that or they win one and then they get blown out the next week.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And also to stop giving away these dumb contracts like the freaking Dak Prescott contract, which I think is dumb. But either way, once again, that's Jerry Jones giving out that contract. So I think Jerry Jones, you hate to see these owners outlive their welcome, or not outlive their welcome, but, like, just stay around the game too long. And that's kind of what has happened here.
Yeah. Well,
another thing you could have wished for the Broncos is their ownership situation to get resolved too.
Yeah, we could have. I could have as well. But I think the Vic Fangio time management is a lot more important than I guess ownership situation. But
it's the bigger need for sure.
We need a bigger need right now, and we need to fill in a much needed need right now, and that's the time clock management.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about the next team, and that is the New York Giants.
Same team, kind of like the Cowboys. They really need to draft the 07 and 2011, the Eli Manning aura. I guess when you really kind of think about it, this is really a team that really, I mean, in 07 and 11 really defeated those great Patriot teams. And then, yeah, it's a team that really hasn't been the same since 2011, and it's just they're kind of just walking into the desert right now. And who knows if Daniel Jones is going to make a break or something like that, or maybe he can kind of turn into Eli Manning, just have like this aura about him where he makes this crazy run that they have.
Exactly.
That's what they need, yeah, and then draft a good defense.
Mystique that they had.
They need to draft, the 2007 and 11 Mystique. That's what they need.
Exactly.
They don't need edge rushers. They don't need O-linemen or wide receivers. They just need more Mystique. That's what they need.
Exactly.
All right. We're staying with the NFC East, man. The Philadelphia Eagles.
3 in a row, huh?
3 in a row. I never thought about that until now.
I mean, the Eagles are like one of these interesting teams where they keep getting to the playoffs somehow because they've been to 3 of the last 4 playoffs. So I think that they're actually not in that bad of shape once again. I mean, I think that they're moving on from Carson Wentz. But, like, if you can somehow draft Super Bowl 52 Nick Foles and just have him as the quarterback for this team permanently, like, that one game of Nick Foles, like, if he's able to just be that person – Super Bowl 52 Nick Foles, like somehow beat the quarterback of this team. The way he played that one game, that team would be unstoppable.
Yes, they would be unstoppable. That team was a very good team, that 17 team. And really, they've kind of fallen off the map there. Really, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about that. Really, I mean, they took a really deep nosedive. And yeah, we'll have to see. And yeah, they should. That's what they should. They should just draft that playoff era Nick Foles.
Right, because I mean, obviously, like they've had troubles at quarterback. It feels like ever since. And once again, if they just somehow had that version of Nick Foles for that one game, like they would be all set.
They would be all set, and they would be good. We will have to see. But this is a team I think really could. In reality, probably on the downslide a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure that they are. But once again, they still keep finding ways to go to the playoffs. So once again, they're a team that's not that far removed from success. So I keep getting all these teams that are not that far removed from success.
I'm looking already, and you'll get another team for your next pick.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. Go for it. What do you got on the Chargers, though?
All right, Chargers, kind of like the Falcons, they kind of need to draft that like Madden card where it has basically almost like a 55-minute game or a 5-minute fourth quarter. That's what they really need to draft. I mean, really, this is a team that had a bunch of heartbreaking losses last year, and then losing in the final seconds of most of these games. And they're basically what the Falcons were. I mean, just having a lot of these losses.
Oh, for sure. They are always like in these games. They're always in one possession games, and they always lose them.
Yeah, it's just think about that Bronco game too,
Right.
in Mile High. I mean, it's just like the Broncos were complete crap for they were complete crap for like 40 minutes and 45 minutes, and then the last 15 minutes they turned into like the greatest offense in the world.
I mean, they were up on, I believe, they were up on the Buccaneers, I believe, at halftime too.
Yeah, they were up on the Chiefs too in week 2 with right. Herbert starting over Tyrod during that time. So, yeah, it was the last 5 minutes that really hampered them. So, yeah, that's a team that needs that Madden sheet of the 55-minute game or a 5-minute fourth quarter.
Right.
All right, next. The Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, man, there's so many things to draft here. I got like 2, but the first thing they need to draft is like a 40-foot wide or 50-foot wide goalpost, because their kickers always find a way to miss the most important kick. Whatever the kick is, if the game's on the line, they need like the goalpost to be double the size for that kick to somehow go in. That's what they need. They need like a 40-foot goalpost.
Yes, they need that, and
right.
I guess they really need a competent quarterback as well. They need they need like a Nick. I mean, really, I mean, Kirk Cousins, I guess, has been like their competent quarterback for a long time now.
But like they find ways to get to the playoffs with no matter what quarterback they have. They find ways to get to the playoffs. They do it all the time with some guy who shouldn't be there anyway, like we saw with Keenum a couple of years ago.
Right.
Like they've gone to the playoffs with some of these just terrible quarterbacks. I mean, and yet they always lose. They could also use how Monopoly has that get out of jail free card. They could use like a get out of this playoff game free card because there's always they get the Minneapolis Miracle and they beat the Saints, but then they lose in the conference championship. So maybe they need a get out of the conference championship free card and go straight to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, maybe that's what they need. Yeah, but I agree with you. Definitely a wider goalpost. Yeah, I mean, think about it too. That was a team that really, I think that Buccaneers game where they looked like they were going to make a run now and try to maybe get to that playoff spot.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I mean, after those kicks, I mean, really, I mean, it was after that game, really. I mean, it was all down. It was really kind of sliding downhill for the Vikings. But I do agree with you. They definitely need to draft the 40-foot wide goalpost.
Yeah, that's what they need. They need a 40-foot wide goalpost.
And yet somehow I think a Minnesota kicker was somehow still missing.
With the game on the line, yeah.
With the game on the line, they will still find a way to miss it, even if the field goal was that wide.
There's no excuses.
Yes.
In any event, like I said, I think that's the biggest need. But man, we could go on and on about the Vikings. Obviously, a beleaguered franchise for sure.
Yes.
But let's talk about the New England Patriots.
All right. Here's what they need to draft. They need to draft Tom Brady again, because you saw it. You saw it this year. This is kind of a prime example. Really, I mean, this is a team that's kind of really the Patriots are probably going to be a 500 team without Tom Brady. I mean, that's what they need to do. They just need to draft Tommy again.
I mean, that's an obvious answer for sure.
I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, it's just just draft Tommy again.
It is. It's the obvious answer, but you look at it too, and I mean, you look at the Patriots. I think they're already getting what they need, and that is this era of humility where things are not going well for them. Because at the end of the day, 90% of America hates the New England Patriots. So they need some of these years of just suffering so that way, people can actually start to be, not against them.
Yeah, you could root for the Patriots again and not feel bad. All right, next on the list, the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh man, the Arizona Cardinals. I don't they're such a weird team. Because once again, they have maybe the best receiving core in football, and they're just a weird team. I mean, obviously Kyler Murray, they look like a team that's trending in the right direction. So a team that probably only does need one or two players, but let's look at what they really, really need, and that thing is for some reason they always play good against the Seattle Seahawks. So if they played the Seattle Seahawks every week, they would somehow be 15-1.
You're right. You're right. They do always seem to play the Seattle really good, and those were always good. They've been good games the past couple of years with Kyler at quarterback. And I agree with you. Yeah, they need to draft the Seattle Seahawks team and play them 16 times. Really, I mean, it's just it's funny. I mean, it's just. Right. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this team. Really, I mean, they were 500 last year, and they're probably going to be around that this year. They're probably going to be that 9-8, 9 or 7-9 type of role. They also 8-9.
They also need to draft a schedule where they don't play the Rams, because for some reason they always get killed by the Rams.
So they need to draft a schedule where they play the Seahawks more, but the Rams less.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much it. They haven't beaten the Rams, and I don't they haven't beaten the Rams. I'm looking at it now. I'm already in 2016, and I still haven't found one where they beat the Rams.
Yes.
Oh, they beat the Rams in 16, but that's the last time they beat the Rams.
And that was back when the Rams were bad.
Right.
So
And
so
they
Sean
still lost to them that year too.
So Sean McVay so Sean McVay is undefeated against them.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, so you know what, Cardinals, you can talk crap all you want about the draft party. You beat the guy who's putting that draft party up, okay, with the Rams and all that. You need to beat him first before you can even make fun of him.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. Man, you keep getting some great ones.
They need to draft. You know what they need? They need to draft. You know what? They need to draft a shorter schedule, really, because really, if you think about it, I mean, this was a team we were talking about in November as a chance of being a playoff team in early November. Like we were kind of talking about them, but then they really fell off the map those last 2 months. Really, I mean. And yeah, they were probably a Vic Fangio missed clock management from being a 7-9 team compared to an 8-8 team. So right. Yeah, that's what they need to draft. They need to draft a shorter schedule because it happened with Gruden the past 2 years where they've gone off like game busters where they've been fairly good and a fairly decent record,
right?
And then they've kind of fallen off the last half of the season.
Yeah, actually, that's a great pick for sure. I mean, obviously, they need to draft like a really good season somehow this year. Now that fans are allowed in Vegas, like they need to draft something that gets that fan base energized too.
Yes, we'll have to see, and yeah, maybe kind of draft away the Raider mystique because really the Raider mystique has kind of gone away. Really, it has gone away. Yeah, it's kind of gone. But I do agree. I think they need to draft a shorter schedule rather than a longer schedule.
Oh, for sure. No, that's definitely the answer. It's a good pick.
All right.
We already did Miami, so let's move to the Washington football team.
You're the Washington football team, man.
Okay, this one's pretty easy, like an actual team name, so you're not calling them the Washington football team. It's stupid. It's annoying. Merchandise sales have got to be tanking because no one wants to wear a shirt that just says football team on it. Like, it's a real team name, so give your team, like, a real identity.
I know. They really have kind of pitter-pattered with this. I thought they would probably have, like, a name right away, but it seems like they're taking their time with this name change. And if you watch, it's probably going to be a really bad name that it's just like you waited 2.5 years for this.
Right. Like.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a really, really bad thing. I mean, it's just like, why would you do this? Like, why would you kind of hold your fan base, kind of hostage, with this kind of team name or something like that? Really, I mean, I get why you had to get rid of the name, but it's just
right,
like,
absolutely.
Now you're taking literally a year and a half to unveil a new name.
Right, exactly, and it's gonna be something lame, like you said, like the Colonels or something dumb.
I want the Washington Sentinels. Just give me the Washington Sentinels. Come on, I want the replacements.
That would be fantastic. I mean, the Washington Warlocks. Give me something interesting.
Yes, I would. No, it's going to be the Washington Bobcats or the Wildcats.
No, it's not even gonna be that cool. It's gonna be, like I said, the Colonels or something like the Patriots.
Colonels, yeah.
Colonels, yeah.
Yeah, something patriotic in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Chicago.
All right, here's what they need to draft: an actual competent quarterback. Like, really, I mean, I think it's a team, or at least like a long, competent quarterback. Because really, I mean, this is a team that's been really kind of in quarterback purgatory forever. It seems. I mean,
forever.
Like, really, I mean, people thought Trubisky was going to be, but then he had that one good year, but then he's really kind of fallen off. They thought Nick Foles was going to be the thing, and now they're going to Andy Dalton in that way. I mean, it's just weird to think. I mean, and just even if they did draft Patrick Mahomes, he probably wouldn't be that good too if he was on the Bears.
No, he definitely wouldn't be the same guy if he was on the Bears this whole time.
No, he would not be the same. I mean, and this is a team like starving for a quarterback. Like, if they got like a competent quarterback and had a few good years with a competent quarterback, right, I think he would be, he'd probably be a Chicago legend.
Here's the thing, like, even when they have advanced to the Super Bowl, they've done it with Jim McMahon, who wasn't like the greatest quarterback of all time. And they somehow made it to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman.
Yeah, that's been their past two superheroes.
And it's like every year.
Yeah, it's been the past. Yeah, those have been their 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks. Have been Jim McMahon and Rex Grossman. Yeah, I mean, it's just really a bad stretch for quarterbacks, and it has been for like 30 years now. I mean, it's just, yeah, Rex Grossman, Chris Miller, Jim Miller, and yeah, I guess Jay Cutler was probably their most confident quarterback, folks, in the past 30 years.
Yeah.
And people still didn't like him.
Yeah. Honestly, what they need to draft is like the super fans' vision of Mike Ditka. Like, that's what they need. They need that version of Mike Ditka to somehow, like, the Ditka that's going to outrun a bus or something. They need that version of Mike Ditka to lead the team.
The created player that you created, like Madden when we were kids, where it's just like he had 99 everything and he was just better than everybody.
Exactly, yeah. Like I said, who would win in a team race between the Bears bus and Mike Ditka? Is Ditka driving the bus?
Ditka versus a hurricane. Who would win? The name of the hurricane is Hurricane Ditka.
Exactly.
You're right. You know what? Scrap that. That's what they need. They need the super fans version of Ditka. That's what they need.
That is what they need for sure.
All right. Indianapolis Colts.
Once again, I feel like this is another team that's not particularly interesting to have on this list. They were like obviously a playoff team, or a team that was in the playoffs last year, a team that was right there at the end somehow with Phillip Rivers. So once again, like they're right on the cusp of doing something, I think. But I don't like their ownership situation. I don't think Jim Irsay is a good like owner for this team. I think, there's some things about him that are like, obviously, they turned their back on Peyton Manning right away and bam, he leads the Broncos to the Super Bowl. I think they need a new ownership situation. I really do.
And it's interesting. Yeah. I mean, it really, I guess it's a team that really needs, I guess, Andrew Luck again. That's what they kind of need. They need to draft Andrew Luck again.
Yeah. They need like the first 2 years of Andrew Luck and fully inflated balls.
Luck. Yes. No, but I agree with you. Yeah, the ownership situation, because I mean, it could go downhill really quick for the Colts. We'll have to wait and see with that. I'm kind of curious with this team, which we'll probably talk about more as the NFL season goes awry or keeps going.
They're not, like I said, they're not that interesting.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
Oh, and I get really a not interesting team, really.
Right. Like, I mean, it looks like, and another reason why they should change the ownership situation is like Jim Irsay went on like a Leo DiCaprio and Wolf of Wall Street bender a few years ago when driving around. So,
yeah.
Obviously,
they could.
So he gets away with it.
Yep, that's what they need.
Going back to the Patriots, they need Robert Kraft's like massage parlor friends to help them out.
Yes, need more of that massage parlor luck again.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the Tennessee Titans.
Oh man, this is like a tough one because really, I mean, really minus Derrick Henry really is kind of like a boring team in a way. I mean, it's just
minus Derrick Henry, they're probably 2-14. So
I mean, it's an interesting team. I mean, they went to the AFC Championship 2 years ago, won their division last year. But this is a team I think that needs to draft a new stadium. I went to that stadium. It is a really bad stadium, and it was like right before where like state-of-the-art stadiums really became like, kind of the thing. That's what they need. They need to draft a new stadium because that stadium is a dump. It's a terrible stadium. It is one of the worst in professional football. And that's what they need. They need to draft a new stadium because I think a lot of people really nobody wants to go to that stadium.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to the stadium for a game. I've driven past it. It doesn't seem like a particularly exciting stadium.
It doesn't stand out in a way, really. It doesn't. Yeah, like when you see Mile High, it kind of stands out in a way.
Yeah.
It doesn't stand out really with Nashville. It just feels like it kind of blends in with the city.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does for sure. I mean, once again, Nashville's a fun city, and so but like I said, it's not as fun as I think the rest of it. Or if you go to a Nashville Predators game, that's a freaking party.
Yeah, yeah, that is a party, and yeah, well, yeah, and yeah, it's not a very good stadium.
No.
All right. Oh, we already talked about the Jets. Yeah.
Well, let's
That's
talk
good.
about the Steelers, huh?
Pittsburgh Steelers, man.
I don't want to copy yours, but I feel like it's kind of the same as like the Oakland Raiders. They need like that 13-week season. Because once again, if you look at that team through like the first 11 weeks of last year, incredible football team. And even the few years prior to that, they've been really good through the first part of the season, and then they tank late. So once again, like they just really like I said, the Raiders, they just need that shorter season, man.
I agree. You hit it right on the. Yeah, this was a team very dominant the first 10, 11 weeks of the season, and then they really dropped off after they started losing, and then it all culminated with that wild card game where they really got the crap kicked out of them by a really undermanned, COVID-ridden Browns team. I mean that's the shocking
and
part.
They never lose to the Browns.
They never lose to the Browns, and they lost to the Browns the way they did. Actually, what they really need to do, they need to draft a 2020 game sense for Mike Tomlin, because I think he's really like I know a lot of people think he's a really good coach and all that, which I do tend to agree, but he has a lot of head scratching wins. I mean, even in 17, 18, 19, or not so much 19 because of Big Ben, but it's just like, 17, 18. And then this year, losing to the Bengals that way. I mean,
right.
And they were really in that game at all. And then getting the crap kicked by the Browns in the wild card game. I mean, and this is a guy that got the crap kicked out of him by the Jaguars in that playoffs too. So really a bunch of head scratching defeats for Tomlin, and I think he just needs like a 2020 game sense. He probably still thinks that the NFL is still playing, kind of this 2000 mentality.
No, for sure. All right. We talked about the Browns a second ago. Let's talk about those Browns now.
Oh, Browns. This is a team I think that really kind of needs, I guess, really a name change. Really, I mean, it's just really the Browns have become sort of a verb, even though not so much last year. But if you think about it, 18, 19, 17, 16, really, I mean, that you said, oh, they're pulling a Browns, man. I mean, it's a bad verb, and it's just really a team that's just. I think they need kind of like a new identity. They need to change the team name, change the colors. Really try to get this like brown stench out of their way.
Yeah, and honestly, they could probably even like change their name to like the Bulldogs or something, since they already have the dog pound, and not lose that part of the culture. But yeah, they definitely like I said, obviously last year was a huge step forward for this team. But once again, the only positive thing you can say for them is that they're not the Lions.
Yeah, and they somehow still, even with the great season, they somehow still pulled the Browns. Where they let a backup quarterback, convert a fourth and 1 or 4th and 2, really to seal the game. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, they still found a way to pull a Browns. So that's why I think they need to draft a different team name. I do agree with you. I think the Cleveland Bulldogs would be a really good team name. Yeah, because then they could keep that dog pound.
Right, exactly. Maybe change the colors a little bit and get away from the actual brown color, because no one needs that no more.
Yeah, and they've gone back and forth. And, they tried to redesign, that didn't work, and now they're going back to the old style as well. So it's just like, you know what, get a new identity. Get a new identity. You know what, make the Browns part of the past. Get a new identity for 2020, 2021 and beyond.
I agree with that. That's a good pick. I like that.
All right. Oh, stay with the AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens.
All right. This is going to be an interesting one for you, Bushy, and I'll give it to you. Obviously, they have Lamar Jackson. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They are a team that's going to be in the conversation every year. But what they need to do, and they need to, for some reason, to have this happen, is for Ray Lewis to say he's retiring before like the start of every season. Because you look back at the year that they won the Super Bowl, Ray Lewis announcing his retirement right before the playoffs was what kick-started that team and somehow sent it to the Super Bowl. And a Super Bowl that they shouldn't have won somehow against the Niners. But, like, oh, no, I mean, once again, a team that, like, probably had no business being there. Obviously, being a Broncos fan, you're a little jaded, but
no, you're right. You're right. I mean, they need somebody needs to announce a retirement or something like that. Yeah, before like the season, and they kind of win on this game, and
right.
And they kind of do it. Let's win it for this person or something like that. Yeah,
right. Even if it's Ray Lewis announcing his retirement from ESPN this season, like.
Yeah, or Lamar Jackson kind of threatens to retire or something like that.
Or Ray Lewis murdering a guy because he murdered a guy before they won their other Super Bowl.
Yeah, they need like an off the field Ray Lewis kind of activity to kind of help this team. Yeah, Ray Lewis needs to do something that's kind of just off the radar.
Them rally around him.
Yes.
Announce his retirement. Be involved in a murder. Yeah. We don't know what.
Yeah. Petty theft. Or do a white collar crime or something like that, like money embezzlement or something like that. Boom, baby. Boom. He gets caught for a money embezzlement scandal. Boom. Ravens are going to the Super Bowl.
There you go. Ray Lewis goes to jail for tax evasion.
Tax fraud. Yes, tax fraud.
Browns are going to the Super Bowl. Mark it down.
Ravens are going. Yep, mark it down.
Ravens are going. Yep, mark it down. Ray Lewis does it.
I love it. Great pick. Great draft need.
All right. Ooh, New Orleans Saints.
What they need to draft, their own sets of refs. That's what they need. They need to draft their own set of refs. That's what they need. They need just their own set of refs for just their games and their games only. You saw it with. Well, you can't really blame the Minneapolis Miracle on the refs, but obviously in 18, yes, you could blame the refs with that one, and then 19, you can kind of semi-blame the refs too, but you couldn't blame them in 2020. But yeah, they need to draft their own set of refs. That's what they need.
They really.
So then they can't. So then the New Orleans fan base can't blame. Oh, we got to blame it on the refs. So I'm like, well, this was your set of refs.
Right.
Not your fault. Yeah.
They really do, because they get the worst calls and they get the most calls of anyone out there.
Yeah, exactly. And and then they'll blame it all on the refs. If they get their own set of fans and somehow they still screw up, you say, well, you can't blame the refs on this one.
Exactly. That's a good pick.
All right. The Green Bay Packers.
Ooh. Obviously, I mean, the easy answer is to draft regular season Aaron Rodgers somehow into the playoffs. Because regular season Aaron Rodgers is phenomenal, and then they get to the playoffs and Aaron Rodgers just tanks.
Yeah, it's a tough set of team. I mean, really, it's a team that really needs to draft like a clutchness rating or something like that. Because
exactly.
I mean, it's just that's what they need. They need to turn, or they need that Madden slider, with like clutchness. They need to turn that all the way up to 99, because it's just like a team that always seems to be in the hunt with all these games, and then they find a way to lose.
There.
They're right there, and they find a way to lose these games and lose it in like weird ways too.
Right. Rodgers has played 190 career regular season games. He's thrown 89 career interceptions. He's played 21 career playoff games. He's thrown 13 playoff interceptions.
It's okay, but this is a team.
Definitely the ratio is off, though.
The ratio is off, yes, in the playoffs. But I agree, they need to draft the clutchness slider or something like that.
Yeah, something. Give me like regular season Rodgers in the Super Bowl.
Yes, that's what they need.
All right. Up next, we got the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh, man, this is a tough one. I guess they need to find that like 90s mystique again, which you kind of think about it. Maybe kind of in a way they're maybe kind of finding it again, especially with this year. We'll hopefully they need to draft that early 90s mystique where it's just like, where people go to Buffalo and they're scared. And yeah, that's what they needed. They need to go back to the 90s, folks. They need that. They need to find that 90s charm again.
See, I don't even want to do that because obviously you look at that 90s teams and they still found a way to choke in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's they need to play like all of their games in Buffalo somehow because that cold weather really seems to throw some people off. So maybe they just need to play all their games in Buffalo.
Yeah, it's the cold weather and the mistake a little bit. Really, I mean, it's a tough place to play in Buffalo. So yeah, they need to. Yeah, all the games need to be played in Buffalo.
Right. Because even look at the playoffs last year, they won their 2 home playoff games, and then they go out and get like they can't win in KC.
Yeah, they couldn't win, and they got really blasted in KC too. So
they did.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they need to go to Buffalo, or all the championship games need to be played in Buffalo, or all the playoff games.
Right, exactly.
All right, next for you, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, okay. I thought I had Tampa Bay. My bad. Because it looks like Kansas City had traded their pick based on the thing I'm looking at.
No, Kansas City still has theirs.
I'm showing them trading it to the Ravens. Didn't they trade it to the Ravens?
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Okay, you get Tampa Bay. That's right. Yeah, they just did it. They just did the trade. Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. I'll talk about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah.
I'll talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, and that is obviously for Andy Reid to never have to coach another game against Tom Brady. That seems to be what throws him off. Like, for whatever reason, obviously he had that Eagles team in prime position, couldn't win in the Super Bowl against Brady. Whenever they get to the AFC Championship game, couldn't win against Brady. Obviously, last year in the Super Bowl, fantastic team. Terrible against Brady. So, once again, if Andy Reid, for him to never have to coach a game against Tom Brady again.
Yes, yeah, they need to draft, Tom Brady vanishing spell. Like, just get rid of Tom Brady, because really he has been a thorn in their side the past 4 or 5 years with this team. So, yeah, I agree with you. That's what they need.
Oh man, if I had that Tom Brady vanishing spell, I'd have used that thing 20 years ago. That thing wasn't around.
Oh yeah, especially since we're at the 20 year of the first Pat Super Bowl team. So yeah.
I know. Someone invent that. I'd love that.
Brush it off of the face of history. Tom Brady never existed.
Yeah, that'd be great. Or like that Men in Black flashy thing to convince him he's like a ballerina or something.
Yes, that's what we need. The mind eraser.
To give it up.
You know what? Yeah, that's what Kansas City. That's what the Chiefs need, is the mind eraser, so they can forget about this past Super Bowl, because really that was a god awful Super Bowl to watch, even probably as a Chiefs fan and us as football fans.
I want that thing as well. If you can give me that, so I can forget watching that Super Bowl, give it to me.
You know what? That's my pick now. Since we're trying to going on to Tampa Bay, that's what I want. I want to draft the neuralizer. That's what I want, for people to forget. Yeah, and I want people to remember when the Bucs were bad, and I don't like it when the Bucs are good sometimes. Like, it's just like
I don't mind the Bucs being good I mind Tom Brady being good, man. He gets like you said, it's too much. I want to forget it.
It is.
Plus the game itself, like you said, the game itself was an atrocious football game. We've talked about it before. Atrocious Super Bowl game.
It was a bad one. It was a bad one. Yeah, and Tom Brady's been two of the worst Super Bowls of the past 4 years too. So it's just absolutely. I agree. Like, I think that's what we need.
At least with like the ones against the Eagles and the Panthers and the Rams where they won it. Even the ones against the Falcons and the Eagles where, in recent years where he won it, those were at least good football games. I'll take a good football game.
Yeah, the games in which he lost, those were great. Yeah, obviously the Falcons one was good too. So, yeah, but it's just like that Rams Super Bowl and then this past year was just very bad. Yeah,
absolutely. So I'll let you talk about the Buccaneers. We already kind of started talking about it, but let's talk about them.
What they really need to draft is really just a de-aging pill or something like that, or a de-aging kind of mist or something like that, so they can keep Tom Brady. So they can just find a way to keep Tom Brady and keep him playing the quarterback right now.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I was gonna say, like, for whoever their GM is right now, like whatever he's doing to somehow make this team under salary cap, because you look at the people that they have on this team and how they were able to re-sign all of them. Like, I don't know how the math works. Like, how is this team not over? They got Brady signed to a big deal. They got Gronk. They got Shaq Barrett. They have Antonio Brown. They have Mike Evans. They have like all these guys who seem to cost a lot of money, but somehow are not making a big salary cap hit. They have all these great offensive linemen. They have Ndamukong Suh. Ndamukong Suh's all of a sudden cheap. Like, how do they have all these guys on this team and are under a salary cap? Explain that to me.
It's the case of they're trying to get under the cap type of thing, and this is the year they kind of want to do a repeat. After that, this team's probably going to be blown up. If they don't win next year, this is going to be a blow up team.
I just have no idea how this team is under the cap.
I agree. Yeah. But they do need to like a DH, because sooner or later this Brady thing is gonna end, and it's gonna end very poorly. Like, it's just like we're gonna see the end of Tom Brady. Hopefully this year.
Hopefully.
Yes.
I want to see him like go out like Brett Favre style, where like you're worried if he goes out there, he's gonna like break a hip or something.
Yes. No, that's what we need. We need another Bernard Pollard, ACL tear injury. That's what we need.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we need.
In any event, there are two teams it looks like that don't have first round picks that we haven't talked about.
Three teams.
The Rams.
What? Three teams.
Texans and the Rams, I thought. And the Seahawks.
The Seahawks, yes.
All right, where do you want to go first?
I'll do with the Houston Texans. What they need to draft right now is an exorcism. That's what they need. That's what they need. They needed exorcists to really just clean. This is really a toxic team right now, and really, I mean, it is just getting worse. They really need to get rid of the exorcism of Bill O'Brien. That's what they need, really. And I know he's gone, but they need to just clean house and get holy water and just spray it around everything that Bill O'Brien touched.
I mean, honest, that's one way to do it. I was gonna go. The thing that I was gonna say I had the Texans was a time machine to go back in time and like crack Bill O'Brien in the head 2 years ago, and like put him into a coma for like the last 2 years, because before he could blow it all up.
Before
they had the potential to be really good. Like what, 2 years ago?
They were up 24-0 on the Chiefs. Really, that team has never been the same since the second quarter of that game.
They need to go back and like somehow after the first quarter, like knock Bill O'Brien senseless and put him into a coma before he can blow the whole thing up or mess up that game against the Chiefs.
Yes. Yes. So he doesn't trade DeAndre Hopkins. Deshaun Watson's not caught in all this legal trouble, or before then the rumor trade swirl too. So. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to take the Rams.
Okay.
Because I feel like they're an interesting one, but I want the Rams to draft Calvin Johnson. Because in order for Matthew Stafford to be good and for Matthew Stafford to be relevant, you got to have Megatron on your roster. That's it.
I am so really curious. Yeah, really, I mean, yeah, I really am curious. I agree with you. Yeah, they need to draft like just a really tall rival, like a really tall wide receiver. Just I don't care what his size is. He's just really tall, because that's what Stafford does. And a lot of these receivers for the Rams are really undersized. So I know I'm getting but yeah, they need to draft a really tall receiver.
Like I said, I'm going. They need to draft full Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, either Calvin Johnson or maybe just go like big, like
out of retirement.
Yeah, or big WWF wrestlers. So, go and get the Great Khali and go get, the Big Show, because they're just really tall, and just have them do a jump ball.
Yeah. Something to make Stafford relevant. Like I said, Stafford's not relevant unless he's throwing it to Calvin Johnson.
Yes. Last but not least, the Seattle Seahawks, really, they just – this is a team that really they need like the Vic Fangio thing. This is a team that really needs a game management situation with Pete Carroll, because really Pete Carroll is one of the worst game managers ever, and it's just really head scratching how this team is always like 11-5, 12-4. in these games. Like it's just like very, very fascinating to me because it's just like I don't think Pete Carroll's a really good game management coach, really, and it's just like, hey, or tell him in the ear during the Super Bowl, I think you should run it again.
Yeah.
Or like last year, it's like, oh, I'm going to challenge this play during the Rams game, and it's just like, I don't think you should challenge that.
Well, that's one of the things you can do is you can go back in time and have him run it because I feel like they've been a little bit cursed again since that.
Yeah, they really have been, and even though they have been good teams, but it's just like they really don't feel like they have a shot.
Or that like skip the conference championship game card that get out of jail free card, like get out of the conference championship game free card. For the Seahawks, it's the get out of the divisional round free card because they have not been able to advance to the conference championship game even since that loss to the Patriots.
Man, that's crazy.
And they keep going out in the divisional round or the wild card round.
Yeah, the wild card of the divisional round. It's a team that's always been competitive. They were always like 10, 11, 12 wins. And it's just, they're always in it, but it's always a team. They're never certain.
Yeah. They just need to get to that like next level. And that's like, okay, if they're in the conference championship game, they get it at like the Legion of Boom, in front of the Legion of Boom, like they're right there.
Exactly. Yeah, they're right there. I mean, they're right there. They should do it.
All right.
All right. So, that was our draft preview, folks.
Absolutely. We're probably going to break this one up. It was a little bit longer show, so what we're probably going to do is post that draft preview tomorrow. So you'll probably see it out of order. It'll be like Pulp Fiction style. So you'll be watching the draft preview, and then you'll be watching our off-the-rails 2003 Cincinnati Reds, Pittsburgh Pirates thing coming tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. Who knows? We could be talking about the 1987 St. Louis Cardinals next week.
Absolutely. Let's get some Bob Tewksbury references on the show.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, at any event, we thank you for watching. If you haven't done so already, go back, watch all of our other episodes. Our one last week was a blast. We hope Jean-Claude Van Damme watches it so we can get that sequel to Sudden Death made. We hope you watch it as well because if there's more numbers on it, maybe Jean-Claude Van Damme will hop in. So once again, do that, and be sure to follow us on Twitter. Thanks again for watching.
All right. Thank you. Peace.